The love story, full of challenges between lytieunu and truong, continues to captivate viewers on a journey filled with tension and surprises. In today's episode, an important clue related to truong has been discovered, making it impossible for anyone following the story to take their eyes off the screen. Will Tieu be able to find truong, whom she lost contact with a long time ago? Or will everything become even more unclear than ever? The plot is becoming more and more compelling, as each twist is a new challenge for Tieu and truong's love. The worries, the events surrounding each step of the characters make it impossible for viewers to look away, always eager for the answer to the question. Can they find each other in a world full of storms? This story promises many mysteries yet to be solved, and viewers can only wait for the next developments. So can Tieu overcome these difficulties to find truong again, or will it all lead to an unexpected dark ending? Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to follow the next twists in this dramatic love story. After the fierce storm, the countryside where Tieu lived looked like a desolate, shattered scene. The ruined houses, floodwaters spreading everywhere, and the landscape no longer bore any trace of the peaceful life that once existed. But amidst this devastation inside Tieu's heart, the pain was greater than the storm outside. The memories of truong remained intact, and she couldn't give up hope of finding him, no matter how dark the circumstances were. Since the storm passed, she had walked through every street asking every villager, but received only silent headshakes in response. These answers felt like sharp knives stabbing her heart, making it ache every time her hope began to shatter. With nothing left but a burning determination in her heart, Tieu decided not to give up. She walked through empty streets, past houses battered by rain and wind, yet still found no trace of truong. She no longer had the strength to cry, only a fragile belief that he would appear, that someone could help her find him. But when all doors were closed, she knew she had to find another way, even as hope became thinner and thinner. Then Tieu entered a small photo shop by the roadside, a place where everything seemed still. The shop wasn't large, but the faint glow of the neon lights was like a weak beacon in the surrounding darkness. Without saying a word, she silently placed an old photo of truong on the table, accompanied by a piece of paper with her phone number. The tears that hadn't yet dried still lingered on her eyelids, but she didn't allow herself to give in. She asked the shopkeeper to post the photo in places where many people passed by, hoping someone would recognize truong and call her. That small hope was like a candle flickering in the vast darkness. The world outside continued to turn, but in Tieu's heart, there was only truong. She wondered if among the countless people passing by, anyone still remembered him. Would someone see the photo and know where he was? Every passing minute felt like a new challenge, a psychological wave that couldn't be shaken off. The feeling of disappointment sometimes came in waves, but in that moment, she understood that no matter what, she couldn't give up. The wind outside howled as if trying to tear apart the fragile hopes in Tieunu's heart. But as she stepped out of the photo shop, she remained determined. Her heart had been deeply wounded, but nothing could stop her from searching for Truong. The exhaustion made her legs heavy, but in her eyes still shone a hope that could not be extinguished. Tieunu's story has no end yet. She continues searching with every step, a piece of hope breaking apart. But she also knows that one day those hopes will be rewarded. In a world full of darkness and uncertainty, only her love and perseverance remain the last light. Tieunu's search for Truong is not just a physical journey, but a continuous battle with herself, with her pain, and with all the unresolved emotions she carries. Not only Tieu, but even Truong's mother never stopped searching each of her steps, filled with worry and unease. Despite everything around her being desolate, she refused to give up and persisted in searching for her son. She knew Truong might be in danger, and the only thing she could do was search for him, even if it meant facing countless challenges. One day, as she was walking down a quiet street, she suddenly heard a buzz, the whispers of people passing by. The atmosphere was tense, as if something special was happening. She couldn't help but pay attention. Her curiosity and anxiety urged her to step closer. A crowd had gathered, and in the midst of them was a photograph. She gently made her way through the crowd, unable to believe her eyes when she saw the photo. It was Truong, her son, who had gone missing. And beneath the photo was a phone number she instantly recognized. It was Tieunu's number. Her heart sank and anxiety surged. A mix of shock and tension overtook her. Tieu, the girl she knew from the stories, must surely be worried about Truong. It felt like all emotions came rushing at once: joy for finally finding a clue, but also pain as she realized her son might be somewhere out there lost and in need of her. She stood still, gazing at Truong's photo, her heart feeling as though it was reliving a pain she had already endured. But in that moment, she also realized this was her only chance to connect with Tieu, to learn more about Truong's situation. What would Tieu do when she found out that Truong's mother was also searching for him? Could she help Tieu bring Truong back? In the crowded space, the suspense hung in the air, as though time had stopped. The encounter between the two mothers, two women sharing the same pain, seemed to be the only ray of hope amid all the uncertainty and destruction. Their story had only just begun, but everything was now ready to take a hopeful turn. Tieu was sitting in a quiet room, her eyes clouded with exhaustion and the anxiety that had stretched on for days. She had nearly given up hope after countless sleepless nights and fruitless searches. But then, unexpectedly, the phone rang, breaking the silence. She jumped, her hand trembling as she picked up the phone, unsure if it was just another meaningless call or the signal she had been longing for. On the other end was a cold, mysterious voice, unclear, emotionless. Hearing it, Tieu felt a chill run down her spine, as if an inexplicable unease was rising within her. The man on the line said he had seen a man who looked very much like Truong, the one she had been searching for at a crowded intersection. Moreover, he mentioned that Truong had chased after a thief, but then suddenly vanished. Days had passed, and no one knew where he was. When she heard this, a flicker of hope lit up the endless darkness that Tieu had been trapped in. Truong might still be alive. He could be somewhere nearby, right where the man had mentioned. The feelings of despair and fear that she had once carried suddenly faded, replaced by a new sensation belief. Belief that even though everything seemed too late, she could still find him. Without a second to waste, Tieu immediately stood up, hurriedly grabbed her bag, and ran out of the house. It felt as though everything around her was spinning, but she didn't pause to think. Everything seemed to fall into an unstoppable spiral. Her steps quickened faster and faster, each one bringing her closer to the answer she had been searching for all this time. The worries still lingered, but now there was only determination in her heart. She felt the coldness of the air, the stillness in every breath she took. But none of that was enough to stop her. Everything around her seemed to blur, leaving only the image of the crowded intersection and the mysterious man who had told her this story. Every turn on the familiar road seemed to become a challenge she had to overcome. She couldn't hesitate, couldn't stop, couldn't let this hope fade away. Tieu felt as if she were racing against time. She didn't know what would happen, but she knew that if she didn't go now, there might never be another chance. The sounds of vehicles and the noise of the street faded in her mind. She had one goal: to find Truong. She didn't know where he was, didn't know if he was still alive. But the hope inside her was stronger than ever. It was all she had. She kept walking, not thinking about the dangers she might face. It felt as though every step was a step closer to the truth, a truth that could change everything. But at the same time, she couldn't shake off the worries about what could happen. She understood that if she didn't act quickly, everything might slip away forever. But she wasn't afraid because hope was still alive in her. And so, Tieu kept moving forward, her heart filled with a newfound belief, though still not without anxiety and fear. She didn't know where the end was, but she knew that just one more step and she might reach the truth. And with that one belief, she continued to press ahead. What do you think about the moment when hope flickers in times that seem utterly hopeless? Imagine you are Tieu, receiving a sudden call, a clue about the person you love who has been missing. Could you act immediately, overcoming fear and search, even though you may never know for sure if you'll reunite with that person? In your life, have you ever had to face an important decision where hope was the only motivation that kept you going? And if so, what did you do to hold on to your belief in what you were searching for?